Well, where is the Walmart bill? Listen, the council has passed a bill that would increase the minimum wage to $12.50 an hour. It has been approved by the council, and we expected that it would have gone to the mayor's desk by now. But Mayor Gray says, I haven't seen the darn thing.
I can tell you this, that I have not received it, despite my best efforts to say, look, why don't you send us the bill?
Well, Council Chair Phil Middelson's on the line right now. I thought we'd get him on the line and find out more about where this is right now. Council Chair, Mr. Mendelson, where is that bill that the mayor wants to see?
Well, first of all, let me say good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Second, the real question is, what is the mayor going to do with the bill? Now, what most folks don't understand is that there are two critical dates. The first is Congress is on recess and doesn't come back until around September 9th or September 10th. And most listeners may not realize this, but legislation passed in the Council of the District of Columbia cannot become law until after it goes through congressional review. So it makes no difference whether we send the bill up last week or next week because Congress is out. The earliest that we could send the bill to Congress, if the mayor signs it, would be after September 9th. So the question is, what's the mayor going to do? Is he going to sign the bill or is he going to veto the bill?
Well, here's the question. He can't make that decision until he gets the bill.
Of course he can, because he knows what the bill says. It's not a secret. The bill is a public text. I've offered to give him a copy of it, but the copy's online. Any of your listeners could look it up on the council's website. So he knows what the bill says. He can make a decision.
So why not just send it to him and find out?
The reason is twofold. First, if he vetoes it, then the council has to override it, and we have a limited time to override it. We're going to meet September 17th. So if we send it up to him, if we'd sent it up to him last week, 2 weeks ago, then he could argue that there's a pocket veto. So that's a reason for waiting, and if he's going to veto it, until September 17th. I don't mean by that I would send it September 17th. No, it'll be sent in about a week to him. But as I said before, there are two key dates. One is September 17th. If he vetoes it, that's when we meet to override. And if he signs it, then we get it up to Congress on September 9th or 10th. And, so all this discussion about what's happening in the month of August really makes no difference. It's when we can get it to Congress, and the earliest is next month, or when do we meet to override, and the earliest is next month. So again, what is the mayor going to do with the bill?
All right, our guest is D.C. Council Chairman Phil Mendelson. And Mr. Mendelson, if I could ask you to speak up just a little bit. We're having a little thing. I appreciate it. So now, meanwhile, while it sort of seems like it's political gamesmanship, you don't want to send it unless you know he's going to approve it. If you think he's going to veto it, you want to wait until the timing is right. That's what I'm getting here. Meanwhile, the
yes,
sort of Damocles...
But I want him to approve it, and the longer the debate goes on, the more... the debate is about why he should sign the bill, and that's to the good. I want him to sign the bill.
Well, but that's not all that the debate is about. The debate is also, I think, happening in the offices of Walmart or any other big store chain when they're deciding whether they should bring a whole lot of jobs to Washington, D.C. If you're Walmart right now and you know this law is pending, are you going to move forward with any of these huge investments that they've committed to making?
Well, they think the market's attractive, and the market is no less attractive in terms of buyers and their ability to compete. But the reality is that this would not be resolved. If the mayor were to veto it, it's not resolved until September 17th for Walmart.
Well, so do you have a vote to override the mayor's veto?
We're working on it. And as I said, there's a lot of public pressure for this bill to be approved.
There's a lot of public pressure for this bill to be vetoed as well.
I'd say that what I'm hearing from residents, I've gotten far, far more, hundreds of times more emails in support of this legislation than opposed.
But what is going to happen here if this bill becomes law? Walmart has made it very clear, they're going to pull out of some of the planned developments in this community. And you're hearing from other companies that say, you know what, this might impact us as well. We're not going to go in there. How do you get economic development in a community that desperately needs it and hasn't had significant development in many, many years if you are running off all of the people who can do that?
Well, I know that that's what the argument is. Walmart has said that they may leave us with three new stores instead of 6. And,
You're okay with that?
Well, 3 stores is 3 more than we have now. But, some of their competitors like Costco pay a entry wage that's higher and pay an average wage that's about 50% higher than what Walmart pays.
Well, Walmart,
that's good for Costco. Costco also charges a membership to the people who shop there. They've got a different economic model.
Walmart told us the other day when we had them on that for full-time employees, their average pay is already higher than $12.50 an hour.
Then it shouldn't be an issue. But, the issue here is quality jobs, not just jobs, because it doesn't do any good if one is basically getting wages that continue them in poverty. And $12.50 an hour, and people should understand, this bill doesn't say $12.50 an hour. It says a combination of wages and benefits that total $12.50 an hour. So if health insurance is provided, $12.50 does not have to be the wage. But if it was only $12.50, that's $26,000 a year, which is just barely above the federal poverty guidelines nationwide for a family of 4.
All right.
We're not talking about good wages here.
Chairman Mendelson, I'd love to ask you about another topic that we've been talking about here quite a bit, and actually just hit some more news about it. That has to do with the state of our fire department and the ambulance readiness. Last night on News 4, I don't know if are you familiar with the investigation that they did on News 4 last night?
No, I didn't see it.
Well, it turns out now, according to the president of D.C. Firefighters Association Local 36. It takes 360 people to fully employ all the positions in the fire department. Fire Chief Kenneth Ellerby says that it's actually only about, and the union claims that right now 250 of those positions are left unfilled. The fire chief says it's actually about 96. He's conceding that 96 of the positions right now are left unfilled. And according to NBC4, they believe that it's about 181 vacancies. Why are there so many vacancies, and why is the fire department and the ambulance and paramedics, why are they not being staffed the way they should be staffed?
Well, the reason is because the fire chief has basically suspended hiring, and he's suspended hiring in connection with management's position in labor negotiations, which is that they want to change the shift. I do think the shift change, which would have firefighters working a 12-hour shift, is better for a number of reasons, but the chief suspended hiring. I mean, there's a little bit of hiring, but not enough to keep up with attrition. I think that's a mistake, and I am concerned about the large number of vacancies. The difference in numbers has to do with whether you're counting all vacancies or just firefighter vacancies.
Do you support the fire chief?
I think the fire chief has got some management problems that he's got to address. I'm very concerned about a number of problems in that department, and the fire chief has got to change his management style.
Aren't you more concerned, though, about the fact that ambulances catch on fire and that there are times when you call for an ambulance and one doesn't show up?
Well, I'm not going to say more concerned or less concerned. I'm equally concerned. We've got to improve management in that department. We've got to be filling those positions. We've got to be ending this steady drumbeat of embarrassing mistakes or mishaps. I do want to say that people in the district are safe. There are roughly 100 ambulances, usually about 35 plus or minus that are on duty at any time. People are generally safe, but it doesn't feel good, and it shouldn't feel good when you hear about engines catching on fire.
You are aware that other cities of similar size have far more paramedics on duty any given day?
Yes. That is not to say that we don't have the ability for advanced life support response, because we do. But there are other departments that have been more aggressive in hiring paramedics and retaining them, and that's a concern as well.
All right. Council Chairman Phil Mendelson, thanks for joining us.
And the big news is the mayor will get the bill in about a week.